Father, we thank you for this opportunity to again meet and consider the items that are before this council and in the betterment of our community and the people of our community, our residents. God, we just ask that you guide the council tonight, guide all of us in the decisions we make. And Father, that above all, that you're glorified and we make our city a better place to live. And we trust you for all these things now in Jesus' name, amen. All right, I will call this meeting to order. This is the regular meeting of the Springdale City Council. This is Tuesday, October 8th, 2024. And we'll start off with our city clerk, Denise Pierce, calling the roll.
Mayor Sprouse.
Here.
Brian Powell.
Here.
Amelia Taldo.
Here.
Jeff Watson. Mike Overton.
Here.
Mike Lawson.
Here.
Rex Bailey.
Present.
Randall Harriman.
Here.
Mark Fugierus.
Here.
All right, thank you. We're all here. Except Ernest. You're not Ernest.
I'm not
No.
Ernest.
And Ann is sitting in for Ernest tonight. Ernest could not, he had something come up and couldn't be here. And so we'll treat her kindly and she'll do great. No, don't ask her a legal question. She might be a little better at answering it than I am, but I think you're our legal counsel up here, Jeff, so. Yeah. All right, we're at item 4 for our folks in the room. This is the agenda item the council sets aside at each council meeting to hear comments from our citizens. If we have residents that would like to address the council concerning an item that is not already on tonight's agenda, I ask that you please come to the microphone, state your name and address. We ask that you keep your comments brief and understand that the council won't take action tonight on what you bring forward. Is there anyone in the room that would like to address the council concerning an item that is not already on tonight's agenda? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to item 5, approval of minutes. Council, you've had an opportunity to look those over. If there are no changes or additions, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I'm going to call for the vote. Oh, that's a voice vote. I don't need to apologize for Anna. I need to apologize for me. All those in favor, please say aye. All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Now, what's your pleasure on procedural motions, council?
I'll move for A and B. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for A and B. Now, I will call for the vote.
Carries 8-0.
All right, thank you. Item 7, appointments and reappointments. We have one resolution, and I'll go ahead and read it. A resolution reappointing Rick Pulverenti to the Board of Directors of the Northwest Arkansas Conservation Authority. Rick is here, and so I would entertain a motion to approve this resolution.
I move we approve a resolution.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any other comments or questions?
No, we usually have a 10-minute presentation by the appointee.
I've heard Rick talk for 10 minutes. I think we're okay. All right. We have any other questions or comments? Anyone in the room? All right, call for the vote.
Carries 8-0.
All right, and Rick, thank you for your willingness to continue to serve in that role. I know you do a great job for us and appreciate it. Item 8, Finance Committee Chairwoman Amelia Taldo. Amelia?
Thank you, Mayor. We have 2 items on the agenda tonight. Item A is a resolution, I'll go ahead and read, authorizing the execution of a construction contract for Bluff Cemetery fencing upgrades. This is presented by Ben Peters, Engineering Director.
Thank you. Yeah, we opened bids last week or 2 weeks ago, and the low bid was from Modern Fence for $314,500. I think I misspoke at committee. I think someone asked me if this fenced the entire property. It does not. It does close off the gap on the northwest corner, and it also surrounds the new property that we acquired in the acquisition last year. So no cars will be able to get onto the Bluff Cemetery with this fencing, but you could still theoretically walk from Mill Street across some private land and get into the cemetery if you wanted to. so it doesn't completely surround it. Does that make sense?
Or is there a plan to close that off?
Well, there's a creek on the north side, and then it's private property all down the east side, so no,
Okay.
we don't intend to.
All right.
Happy to if you want to.
Does
but-
this include getting the gates operational, or is that going to be a separate thing?
Nope, this includes all the gates,
Okay.
making them operational and including the maintenance gate in the southeast corner.
All right, great. Thanks, Ben.
Move the resolution be adopted.
We have a motion. I'll open it up if we got questions. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Questions or comments?
Yeah, I'm not sure I still understood what you said about the fence. Is it fencing this section off from the rest of the cemetery?
No, it's the perimeter fencing of the cemetery, but right now, the north entrance to the cemetery is not closed at all. You can drive in there 24/7. So this extends the fence down Shiloh Road and closes that off with a gate on the entryway. And then moving to the southeast corner of the property, this is where the new property we acquired with the Georges transaction, this encompasses that and ties to an existing private fence on the east side. So it closes that piece of property off. So the access that you used to be able to get from Mill Street into that will be fenced off.
That'll be maintenance only.
That'll be the maintenance drive where we drive in
And
and
this,
out.
to remind everybody, this was part of the agreement on the land donation.
It
on
was the
accepting the
agreement
land
that we
donation.
put up this fence just like this.
Right. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? Anyone? All right, call for the vote.
Carries 8-0.
Okay, Amelia?
Item B is a resolution amending the 2024 budget of the City of Springdale City Attorney's Office. This will be presented by Anna McKinney, Executive Assistant to the Mayor, Project Manager, and this was recommended for approval from committee.
So last week, Colby had mentioned this at the end of the committee meeting. A couple weeks ago, we brought forward a resolution authorizing the creation of a new deputy city attorney position. After talking to our accounting department, finance director, we've noticed that we had enough salary savings for the deputy city clerk position, but we did not have enough for the deputy city attorney position. So in order for that to continue going through as planned, we are needing to amend the 2024 budget of the city attorney's office, which the current budget as it stands right now is $734,908. But if you guys approve the amendment of the budget, it will go up $28,000 for a grand total of $7,662.908. So it'll go up approximately $28,000.
And is this position already filled?
Yes.
Yes, I believe his name is George McManus.
Move the resolution be adopted.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further comments or questions?
I thought we were going to take that previous chief deputy's salary to take this so we wouldn't increase the budget. Because since the former chief deputy is hanging around in the judge's office, he shouldn't need to be paid by the city attorney's office. Was I mistaken?
Yeah, so in 2025, we'll actually be saving $28,000.
Right.
So,
We're getting rid of that position next year, but he's still working this year, the rest of this year.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, this will be a call for the vote.
carries 8-0.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to item 9 now, Police and Fire Committee, and Chairman Brian Powell. Brian?
Thank you, Mayor. We have two items coming before us tonight. They were both recommended for approval from committee. The first one is a resolution. Looks like we have some vehicle insurance settlements coming in to amend the budget for about $88,452. This will be, it looks like it's going to be used for vehicle maintenance. I'll read the title of the resolution is, a resolution amending the 2024 budget of the City of Springdale Fire Department. And Chief Vaughn's here if we have any questions.
Move the resolution be adopted.
Second. We have a motion and a second to adopt the resolution. Any other questions or comments? Anyone? All right, I'll call for the vote.
Carries 8-0.
The second item we have that was recommended for approval is, looks like we got some Act 833 funds to purchase a fire exhaust system for stations 1, 5, and 6. And I'll read the title of the resolution is a resolution waiving competitive bidding and authorizing the purchase of fire exhaust systems for the fire department. And again, Chief Vaughn's here if you have any questions.
I move the resolution be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. Any other questions or comments? Anyone in the room? All right, call for the vote.
Carries 8-0.
All right, great. Thank you. And item 10, move to committee of the whole. We had Ernest presenting these. I'm happy to do it. I don't know who took that at committee, who took these at committee. Did anybody?
I took the second one. I don't remember the first.
I'll go ahead and read this resolution, and then we can discuss it. A resolution authorizing the execution of a commercial lease agreement with CBTR Outdoors LLC on property owned by the city of Springdale, Washington County, Arkansas. Ben, I know, can speak to this. This is the old Bank of America property that was donated to the city years ago. So-
Yep. So this is the property located at 281 East Meadow Avenue. It's the old drive-through bank for the Bank of America. We received this property in March of 2020. Haven't really done much with it since then. So we were in a pre-application meeting with Fat Tire to talk about them building a new structure, and this topic came up is, would this building be suitable for their needs? It's currently 594 square feet. They were looking for 3,000 square feet. So we have kind of come to some general agreement that we would be interested in leasing them this property for 25 years for $3,000 a year. They would make the investment to turn that 594 square feet into 3,000 square feet of retail space. And so this resolution is authorizing the mayor to enter into that sort of lease agreement with those guardrails in place.
Ben, you might mention too, the lease, since we don't have it, it allows them to sublease the property, but if they do sublease it, it would only be for 12 months at a time
That's correct. And
with
it-
council approval.
And it requires the city approval for the tenant.
Gotcha. All right.
I would recommend, when you guys are doing that lease, to do a hold harmless on the arsenic issue, just in case anything arises out of that. It's people that don't know.
It's been encapsulated by the concrete thus far.
Yeah, it's covered with asphalt and concrete. There's no exposed soil on where this site is. There is north of this, which we're currently planting ferns to remove the arsenic. But I think that's a reasonable statement to put into the lease.
Okay.
I move the resolution be adopted.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to adopt the resolution. Any other questions or comments?
Okay, Ben, I didn't quite understand what you just said about the property to the north of it. We're still going to have to do some remediation there?
Yeah, so this property is actually triangular shaped and goes all the way back to where the trail goes under the railroad tracks. And so all we're talking about leasing is just parcel number 815-25246, which is the drive-through bank and the parking lot in front of it, and then the drive access on the west side.
They
So
won't
there's
be
still,
doing anything to the south.
yeah, there's nothing happening south of that.
Yeah, I think,
As part of this lease.
yeah, Ben mentioned the ferns and some of the things the city's going to be doing.
The part that is not being leased is to the south of the drive-through bank.
The wooded area behind it.
Okay, so I'll ask you, Mayor, first of all, is there some reason why we're kind of keeping that property to the west and to the immediate south? Do we have any thoughts on that?
we're not going to do anything with that until, well, to the immediate south. Oh, okay, the back parking. Okay, I see what you're talking about.
Well, I think we may try and turn that into a regional transit stop or a place where you can ride the bus and then get a bike and ride your bike from there. We also would like to use that concrete drive or parking lot to the west for events, for like Square to Square. Might set up a tent, do things to promote the regional greenway.
Okay,
things
so,
like
and
that.
I think I asked you this committee, we still don't have the lease prepared yet?
The lease is not prepared yet. We were hoping to just get these guardrails in place and then prepare a lease. Ernest would prepare the lease.
Okay, and we are going to reserve unto ourselves some sort of access to that property to the west, is that correct?
Oh, yes,
Part of the lease?
absolutely. What?
Drive-up bank, ATM has to stay here.
Oh, yeah.
That was part of the conditions of the.
Is that the ATM that's,
It's right on Meadow. It's not part of this parcel. It's north and west of this parcel.
do we own that?
We do.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. We got a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? Anyone in the audience? Okay, be a call for the vote.
Carries 8-0.
All right, thank you. Item B, I'll go ahead and read that. A resolution recognizing the service of Dr. Walter LaFever by naming and designating a newly constructed highway overpass to be named for Dr. Walter LaFever. And again, Ernest was going to present this. I know we've got some of Walter's family here. Perry is here, who I think brought that to committee. I was not here again, so Perry, come on up if you have anything else you want to add.
Thank you, Mayor. Good to see you. Sitting in the back of the room brings back a lot of good memories. And except for Bailey, there's bad memories too, you know. And could be good memories. Thank you very much for hearing this resolution tonight, and I would ask you and ask you to pass this resolution naming the Harbor Avenue new flyover over I-49 for Dr. Walt LaFever. In 2001, 2002 timeline, the chamber was working with new Mayor Jerry Van Hoos at the time to identify priorities. And I asked Dr. LaFever if he would chair our transportation committee at the chamber to just study and see what possibly could happen with funding and also with infrastructure that could be constructed. Dr. LaFever, I remember in a planning session, drew a line on a map and said, we need to connect Harbor Avenue and Emma Street. And it was absolutely way out there at the time. He asked us to maintain that as a priority, even though it didn't really reach the level of priority that would make sure it got in the next funding, tranche of funding. We went back to the drawing board in 2007, 2008 as the three main corridors, the Don Tyson Parkway and Huntsville Avenue and Wagon Wheel Road were being constructed. We came back and started planning round two. And again, Walt, although he wasn't chairman of the committee this time, but Walt continued to push. We have to build this bridge. We have to build this bridge. He could see the vision. Quite frankly, we couldn't at the time, but he could see the vision of the future. He came to me after the committee had prioritized everything, and again, it didn't reach muster. I mean, it wasn't in the top 4 or 5 projects. And he came to me and he said, I'm not going to do this again, but I want you to make sure this stays as a priority. And I said, well, I'll do what I can. And he said, well, I think it's the most important thing we can do. Okay. And we joked about it, and I told him I would make sure that happened, what I could to make that happen. And then I joked with him and I said, Walt, if we get this sucker built, if we ever get it built, I'm going to do what I can to see that we name it after you. And it was just a casual conversation in 2008, 2007 or 8. Walt passed away in 2009, I believe, and it's been in the back of my mind ever since. And so as I see it under construction, when I drive every day going to play golf, when I see it under construction, I think about Walt almost all the time. And so I had a conversation with Mr. Lawson recently, and I said, let's bring this forward. I don't know if it needs to pass or not. I met Carrie Watson, his daughter, in the back of the room here a few minutes ago, and she's the first Lefevre I've talked to since this all came about. But I do think, quite frankly, there would not be an overpass being built today but for him. And I think it's only fitting that we do this. So I would ask you to pass the resolution.
Thank you, Perry. I've read the title.
Move the resolution passed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. Any other comments or questions? Anyone in the room? All right, we'll call for the vote.
Carries 8-0.
All right. Thank you, Perry, and thank you to the family that's here. Look forward to seeing that finished and the proper recognition on it. Thank you. All right, item 11 is an ordinance authorizing the city clerk to file a cleanup lien for the removal of overgrown brush and debris on property located within the city of Springdale, Arkansas, and declaring an emergency.
Move ordinance pass.
Second.
Got a motion, and a second to approve the ordinance. Does anyone in the room need to speak to this property? All right, seeing none, I'll call for the vote.
Carries 8-0.
Move the emergency clause be adopted.
Second.
All right, call for the vote on the emergency clause.
Carries 8-0.
All right, do we have any comments from department heads? Council members?
Yeah,
Mayor,
Mayor.
I'd like to thank all the phone calls I've got from taking my wife up to Mel. And, you know, she's been struggling for a year, and it took a 90-year-old doctor from Mel to diagnose her. So we think we have it cured, but I appreciate all the phone calls and prayers for her. Thank you.
I have one item, Mayor. It's a question, I don't know if it's for the building department or what, but I heard the strangest request or requirement the other day. There's a house down here on Johnson Street, I think it's on the corner of Purcell and Johnson, that having some remodeling work done, and they had a mud hole in the backyard, and they filled it up with gravel. And if I'm not mistaken, they were informed before they could get a certificate of occupancy, they had to seed the gravel. I'd never heard of that before.
Mike, you know anything about that? You're back there shaking your head. You know anything about this? It's not us. Okay. All right.
You know, Mr. Overton, I don't want to leave the bus. It may be an issue of, you know, no unpaid parking in the backyard. Perhaps one thought that. I wouldn't want to speak for neighborhood services, or maybe something with Ms. Patsy.
Ron's not here. Ron, you don't know anything about it?
I hadn't heard it. That's the only thing I'd heard. They had a mud hole they filled up with gravel, and they said, I don't know, looks like it would come from inspection, but I guess it didn't. But I was informed that in order to get a certificate of occupancy, they would have to seed the gravel, and I just never heard of that.
Let's kick it around and see if we can track that down if it did come from anybody in the
I'll give it
city.
to you tomorrow.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Thank you, and I'll get with the folks that brought it up to me.
okay.
Thank
Thanks,
you. I
Mike. And
appreciate that,
if they give you some direction on who said that, that would help us. Thanks.
Mayor, do you have any information about this weekend?
Yes, about the Luther George Park? Absolutely. And I know y'all have all been invited. I hope you're able to attend the 4 o'clock event. And it goes from 4 to 5:30 is a just thanking those who helped make that happen, the park, all the contributors. And then at 5:30, the music starts with a warm-up band, and it'd be a great time for Luther George Park. I was privileged to show one of the families through that Saturday morning. It's really looking great. I know they're finishing things up, and then, of course, Janae Fleener and the band Woodbox Heroes will be here to perform at 7:30, from about 7:30 to 9, I think, Patsy, 9 or 9:30? Yeah, and it's going to be a great evening. Looking forward to that. I hope everybody can attend. Of course, that portion is a free concert. All the activities are free. There will be food trucks there. And it's bring your lawn chairs, bring your blankets, and just have a good time. And it'd be a great evening to show off the park. And then, of course, events all day Saturday. A picking circle Saturday morning, free breakfast. So if you can't make it Friday night, come out Saturday and look the park over. It's not going to be 100% finished, but it's going to be very much finished. The stage and all the big features are going to be there. And of course, that's going to be a park too, with the trees and the plantings. That's going to be a park that just gets better every year as it ages. So we're really thankful for that, and it'll be a great weekend to celebrate that and to thank those who helped make it possible, including the council. So yeah, Jeff, anything else?
Well, I also heard, and maybe you can confirm this if it's true or not true, but I also heard Harbor and Springdale are playing Friday night.
Right.
And that she might do the Star Spangled Banner.
She's going to go and play the national anthem. She's going to play. Yeah, it'll be a fiddle Star Spangled Banner, so that'll be good. And she could certainly sing it. She's a great singer too, and we'll hear that too. But yeah, she's going to go do that, and then come back and be there in plenty of time at 7:30 to do the concert. Great. And if y'all haven't heard them in person, it's been a year, 2 years. Yeah, but the groundbreaking, and if any of y'all didn't make that and didn't get to hear her and her group, they're outstanding. Anybody else?
I think they're currently #1 on Bluegrass.
They are. Yep. City Attorney? I don't have anything. If we have a motion.
So moved.
All right, we stand adjourned. Thank you all.